Hi pen fans, this is Brian at edisonpen.com. Very happy to announce that there's a new pen model. I've always used number 6 nibs in my pens almost exclusively up until this point. Now, a number 6 nib essentially means that the feed is 6 millimeters wide. Well, they make nibs that are number 5s, and number 5 means that the feed is 5 millimeters wide. Of course, this means it's a smaller nib. When it comes to designing a pen, really the size of the nib dictates the section, dictates the barrel, dictates the cap. It really comes all from that one point. So when I'm thinking about smaller pens, I really couldn't put a number 6 nib on a smaller pen, otherwise it would just look awkward. So without further ado, I have a new pen model. You can guess that since I'm speaking about number 5 nibs, it's a smaller nib, an overall smaller and lighter pen. This is called the Mina. It is like I said, smaller and lighter. It's a flared design, so it's right here is the point in the middle of the smallest diameter, and then it flares out. It's not tremendous and it's not exaggerated. It's not like a real ridiculous flare. I wanted it to be more subtle, just so that you could, just recognize it as a flare. The ends are rounded as well, and like most of my designs, I like how the curves are rather subtle. Now at this point, the pen is going to be clipless. I don't think that I'm going to get into a clipped version. I might prototype it later, but for now, here's my concern. Because of this curve, I'm going to have to bend a clip to keep it from springing. And I'm not sure that that's a good idea with that clip, whether or not it would spring, whether or not it would eventually pull out. So for now, I'm going to go with a clipless model, and eventually maybe I'll prototype a clip, but we'll see. Now, I do have, essentially, this is a small pen, and if you take a look at it, I have photos of this in my hand and also in my wife's hand. For me, this is a little bit too small. I think that when we're at pen shows and like a woman would come to the table and she has, relatively small hands, everything that I offer was really too big. I think this is, that's who I had in mind when I designed this. It's very light and it's also a lot thinner than my normal pens. So for me, I'm 5'11". I've got, standard, size hands for a guy of that size. This is, to me, maybe a little bit too small. This doesn't fit my hand perfectly. So I am also introducing an extended version. So this is the standard Mina, and here we have the extended Mina. Essentially, everything is identical except for it's longer by 3/4 of an inch. So the end diameters are the same. The middle or the waist right here is also the same diameter, but it's just a longer pen. So I think that what I had in mind was maybe this is the feminine version and this is the masculine version. Not to say that this pen wouldn't work for a lady or this pen wouldn't work for a man, but that's kind of what I had in mind after I made it and had it in my hand. This, to me, fits my hand a lot better. The extra length gives me a little bit more to work with. However, that being said, this is perfect for my wife. So, I think that this is a good way to go if you're looking for a smaller offering, thinner, that has, I think, a pretty subtle and interesting design. Now, as far as nib options go, I'm really happy to announce, I've got my 18K nib, number 5 18K nib will go on this, a steel nib will go on this. For now, however, I only have medium steel nibs to go on this. Bear with me for a bit, give me a month or two, I'll have fines and broads if you're wanting a regular steel nib. But what I'm really excited about is that I do have number 5 nibs that are super wide italics. There's a 1.5 millimeter. There's a 1.9 millimeter, and then a very, very huge 2.3 millimeter. Now, whether or not, to call it an italic nib, call it a calligraphy nib, call it a super wide stub, whatever you'd like to refer to it, I'm not sure exactly how to classify them. when I tune them, I basically treat them like a stub. So whether they're calligraphy or whether they're a super wide stub, either way, you can think of it as you would like. Now, one thing about this design, when this sits on the desk, there's 2 points of contact, which makes this roll very easily. So some of you may have seen on the website just recently that I announced pen rests, and that's it right here. It is actually, I think in the photos, it looks, to scale, it looks large in those photos. But when you see this live, I think you'll realize that this is a pretty small and delicate design as well. And I think that it matches the pens very well. This will be sold separately. So for people that have other Edison or any clipless pen or any pen that you would like to make sure that does not roll off the desk, that's what this is for, and it works very well. This is my lightest pen that I've made. This comes in at 14 ounces. I'm sorry, 14 grams, I should say. My apologies. In comparison, the Pearl, which is probably my next lightest pen, is about 16 or 17 grams. So really, this is it's very well balanced. It fits well in a smaller hand, and this fits well in a medium or larger size hand. And I'm real excited about it. I think it turned out great. So I think that's about it. I will say price. One thing I'm very happy to announce is that I'm able to get the price lower on this pen. So with a steel nib, the price will be $200, and with a gold nib, it'll be $275. So that's about it. I know there's a lot covered here. What I'm going to do is, if you're watching this on my webpage, you'll see a bunch of links, next to it that'll show the Italic nibs, the photo comparison of my hand versus my wife's hand versus up to scale with the ruler. So anyways, take a look at some of the links that are attached, but I'm real excited about this one, okay? Take care. One quick thing that I thought I would add in. I thought I would give a quick visual reference. If this is the Mina, this is the Mina next to the Pearl. I think that you can see that there's definitely a difference in the diameter and also the length. So, I was thinking slim, elegant, maybe feminine with this, and I think you can see that there's definitely a difference between the two, size-wise and width-wise. Okay? Take care.